Welcome to HR Tuesday Tips with the Miller. I'm Lori Miller and this is Janine Brown Miller. And today we're going to be focusing on a whole series of elements that are talking about sensitive issues in the workplace. So we're going to begin with talking about transgender issues and kind of giving you the clarity and the information as far as what you need to be aware of, especially with all the different information that's been coming forth in the news. So Janine, let's talk about transgender issues. What are some of the policies and what are the things that you need to be aware of in today's workplace?
Okay, yes, a lot of people are out there very concerned about this topic and how they're going to be prepared for it. So I want to begin by talking about making sure your policies are inclusive. Those policies are such related to discrimination in employment, public accommodations based on both gender identity and sexual orientation. And the trends are toward protecting workers and others based on gender identity. So pay close attention to that. You need to be proactive by thinking of ways to create your workplace where employees feel safe, welcomed, and valued based on who they are as people. So if we don't do so, we naturally avoid offending anyone based on the differences in their lifestyle, identity, or otherwise.
And what about some communication? What do we need to do to make sure that we have clear lines of communication happening within the workplace?
Okay, so a lot of these are very specific again, not only through your policies, specifically employment policies,
Mm-hmm.
addressing discrimination and harassment. So, look at those that you have right now and be sure that you update them accordingly. Keep in mind also your medical leave policies, especially FMLA, because FMLA does cover employees who take medical leave for transition needs for themselves or their families. So it's important to know that. Your health benefits related to dependents and marital status doesn't change due to a transition related. So you have to be focused on that as well. I've had people question that and say, well, now they're not their mother or whatever. Well, they are a parent. They're still covered just as anyone would be. The hiring policy, be aware of questions that may unintentionally make a person uncomfortable, such as previous names, or putting such employees in positions that have little to no client interaction. That's another thing you have to be very careful with. So those are just some of the obvious policies right off the bat that really need consideration at this point.
Okay, so when it comes to transgender issues, we got to pay attention to the policies that we have in place, taking a look at those, open lines of communication, and then also I believe there has to be an element of training that goes along with that. I know diversity training, inclusion training, sensitivity training. I have to believe organizations should really be focusing in on that. I know I spend a lot of time and energy helping organizations with training and development needs. I know a lot of my clients, we go in and we train them on what they need to do to make sure they're respectful in the workplace, whether it's a 2 hour or a full day training program. And not only you do it once, but I have to believe you should be doing training on an annual basis. What do you think?
No, absolutely. That should be required. The other thing about that is also inviting a consultant to come in and talk to your employees. If you have a transitioning employee, I know that I've had to go in and just really address some of the questions that they have and the concerns. So it's very important that everybody understands and respects what's involved in the process and really how they need to interact with the individuals going through that. I always say too, in any case, just create a respectful environment.
Absolutely.
Respect everybody, and it gets kind of simple, and it does sound simple, and it really is. But I say that, if you have that kind of culture, just move forward with that. So that's about it for now.
Yeah, I think you've covered a lot of good information. So remember, it's about being respectful for all those individuals that come working for us and making sure we have effective policies, communications, and training plans in place. So I think we covered a lot of good information today. So sit back, relax. We